Get your I Heart Boobies bracelets, your cans ready for donation, your toms, your, I don't know, your sexual assault allegations or something. Because Warped Tour is officially, unofficially back. Yep, that's right. You heard me right. It's officially, unofficially back. While it hasn't been officially announced, news outlets were reporting the return of Vans Warped Tour in 2025 as early as a few weeks ago. At the time of recording this, at least. Not only that, but the man himself, Kevin Lyman, the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Lyman, confirmed to Polestar that they are working on something for 2025. He didn't say exactly what, but we can all assume it's Warped Tour. Now, who is Polestar? I have no idea, but I don't see any reason not to trust the report. I mean, let's be real here. When are leaks ever wrong? I don't think leaks are ever wrong. Now, immediately, people started getting hyped because OMG, a cross country tour with 2 million bands on it, all for $5. It's coming back in 2025. Yes, let's get hype. I hate to be a bummer. I know, I'm that guy. But realistically, Warped Tour in 2025 is not going to look anything like that. And I think everybody knows that, but no one wants to believe it, Now, today, I wanted to talk a bit about why I feel Warped Tour just shouldn't come back. Like, bro, just leave that thing in the grave, please. The first reason that I think Warped Tour shouldn't come back is because we don't need a retirement home festival. Now listen, let's be honest. Everyone that grew up going to Warped Tour is now Unk status. Let's be real. You think we can handle a Warped Tour? I don't know how it was in other states, but in New York, at least, Warped Tour was literally in the parking lot for the Nikon Theater at Jones Beach. Now imagine you show up to the festival in your Toms that are barely shoes. You're walking around in the scorching heat, the pavement feeling like 50 degrees hotter than it is outside. Okay, are you imagining it yet? Are you imagining it yet? Okay, now add at least a decade to your age. Now imagine it with that. Like, do you remember how there used to be a tent for the parents to hang out all day while their kids enjoyed Warped Tour? Yeah, you're going to be at that tent now, okay? Just imagine that. Times have changed. But apart from the fans, let's be real. The bands they're going to have on the festival are definitely going to be old legacy bands, realistically. I mean, hopefully they prove me wrong, but I kind of genuinely doubt that there would be many new bands on this, especially because it's going to be Live Nation. I really think that it's going to be a When We Were Young festival part 2, just with the Warped Tour name just printed on there so it gets as many people to come as possible. And that's coming from someone that is going to When We Were Young this year and went last year because, I'm an idiot. Something cool about Warped Tours in the past was that these bands that were on there were blowing up at the time. They were probably only a few years old, and Warped Tour for many of them was seen as a rite of passage. Obviously, there were some bands for the old heads. You always got to have those in there, but a lot of the tour was made up of bands that were relevant at that time. They weren't 20 years old for the most part. They were coming out at the time. Hear me out, right? A lot of the bands that are probably going to be on the 2025 Warped Tour are still huge for sure, but they're huge because of their old music. I doubt they'll bring in new emo bands, and there's definitely some really good ones out there right now that would fit a modern day Warped Tour. But yeah, that's my first reason. Are you still with me? Okay. Now, the second reason why Warped Tour 2025 should not exist is Live Nation. Live Nation pretty much runs concerts and festivals at this point. You name a festival that is $400+ these days, Live Nation probably runs that. They also at one point merged with Ticketmaster, so ticket prices were pretty much entirely in their hands and have been for a very long time, which is why you see these astronomical prices that just make you not want to go to any concerts ever. Live Nation and Ticketmaster have almost single-handedly ruined live music events, in all honesty. For reference, I think when I first went to Warped Tour, tickets were probably $35. By the last Warped Tour I went to, I think tickets were $50. Not only that, but if you wanted to get into the festival just a bit early, cut the line and just go right in, You could bring some cans of food for donation, and boom, you go in early. Nowadays, if you want to get in early to a festival, you can't bring some cans. You got to pay $200 extra beforehand, you know? Live Nation is rumored to be running Warped Tour in 2025, so I think that really says enough of what this festival is going to be. And it's mostly just a nostalgic cash grab because Live Nation already has When We Were Young, which basically has all the bands that used to be on Warped Tour. So it's clear that they just kind of want to use the Warped Tour name to get people that either one miss Warped Tour, and also younger people, that never got to experience Warped Tour but want to be able to say that they did. Now, if you're in that second group that I just mentioned, you're a young kid, you never got to go to Warped Tour, but you really want to, I can't blame you if you go, but just know you're getting scammed so hard. And as much as it seemed, at the time for us that it was like, oh my God, it was an emo Disneyland when we were younger. In hindsight, the just Warped Tour was awful. And I can only see it getting worse with Live Nation running it, in all honesty. Now, my last reason for why Warped Tour should stay dead is because Kevin Lyman. Yeah, just Kevin Lyman. That's it. Let me land. To my last point, I'm sure some people probably said, no, but Kevin Lyman is working on it. It has to be good. Just because Live Nation's working on it doesn't mean that it won't be good. Kevin Lyman's on it. Let me tell you. What Kevin Lyman has done for emo and punk music really can't be understated. Warped Tour definitely helped a lot of these bands early on in their careers. And like I said earlier, a lot of these bands, saw it as a big rite of passage for them to play Warped Tour. Especially once they were able to land the whole Warped Tour, like all dates, that was definitely a sign that you were doing something right as a band. I wanted to get that out of the way before people are saying I'm downplaying what he did for music. I definitely acknowledge that. But in the same regards, towards the middle to the end of Warped Tour, Kevin Lyman also did so many things wrong that inevitably kind of led to the downfall of Warped Tour in the first place. Starting with this clip here that I saw the other day from an interview with Ned Russin, who I hope I'm saying his name right, from Glitterer and more famously the band Title Fight.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of things. It's like a weird paying your dues thing, which I don't really agree with. Yeah. It's like, you got to do this thing because it will help your band get to the next level. Kevin Lyman was kind of a dick to us.
Really? Wait, what happened?
We had a weird confrontation with him at one point, and he told us that if it weren't for him, we would be playing to 100 people a night or something, like shit like that.
Whack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure this isn't the only band that he's said this to in the past, and it's clear that as Warped Tour became the powerhouse that it did, Kevin Lyman just started to get an ego, man. It's pretty clear. Now that, I guess, is whatever, right? But this next one though. Now, if I say the name Front Porch Step, that might have made some of you shake in your seats, tremble. Front Porch Step, for those of you that don't know, was a music artist who is mostly known for, how do I put this? Talking to minors. Bro was low-key ahead of his time because he was one of the first to talk to minors inappropriately, right? As the entire scene kind of came crumbling down for these sorts of allegations. He had to have been one of the first, for sure. And basically what happened was, a bunch of girls came out with receipts about what this piece of garbage had done to them. And what did Kevin Lyman do when he heard this news? Kevin, let me tell you what Kevin did. Kevin actually said, you know what, Mr. Front Porch Step, you're going to be on Warped Tour. That's right, you just got yourself a one-way ticket to Warped Tour. Kevin Lyman saw what happened and said, a festival attended by tons of minors could really use this guy on the tour. Now, obviously, this got a ton of backlash at the time because Front Porch Step was quite literally a danger to have on this tour. Kevin Lyman didn't think so, but he definitely was. There was even a change.org petition to kick his ass off the tour. People did not want him there. Even Hayley Williams from Paramore said, this is her quote, "Bro, the amount of pervy/predatory vibes that are surrounding the tour this summer is astounding. What happened to our scene?" And that comes from Hayley Williams, who I mean, you can't really argue against the fact that she's outgrown Warped Tour by a billion, you know? Anyway, even with all the backlash, Kevin Lyman, from what I know, essentially doubled down and said, okay, if this is going to help him get back on track with his life under a supervised situation, I'm willing to do it. I'm the one that would good. I would do it. Okay. He even allegedly paid for his apartment and therapy after all this too. So yeah, yikes, right? Yep. Whatever, right? I could talk about a million predators that were on Warped Tour. That'll for sure be a separate video that I'll do in the future. But Austin Jones, you're up next, buddy. Austin Jones was a YouTuber who was a huge part of the emo scene on YouTube, and I would say mostly known for his part in My Digital Scape, but he was definitely known before then. My Digital Scape being a YouTube supergroup, kind of, in a way. In the shortest way possible that I could put this, Austin Jones was kind of like the Epstein of the emo music scene. And I can say that without getting sued for slander because he is still in prison till this day. Yeah, that guy Austin Jones was... That guy was pulling LeBron James numbers in terms of illegal activities with minors. I think that says it all, really. For those of you that don't know, Warped Tour at one point started having YouTubers on it. They would do meet and greets and stuff like that. Damon Fizzy was another YouTuber that was on that tour alongside Austin Jones and Brian Stars. Damon Fizzy was really at the forefront of exposing Austin Jones, and he went to Kevin Lyman to tell him what was going on, because obviously someone like this should not be on a tour full of minors, right? That seems kind of obvious to me, and it seems kind of obvious to Damon Fizzy at the time. But what do you think was the first thing? Yeah, what do you think was the first thing Kevin Lyman did after receiving this news from Damon Fizzy? Do you think he A, kicked Austin Jones off the tour, B, reached out to authorities to investigate further, C, condemn Austin Jones's behavior as bad, Austin, bad? Or did he D, throw Austin Jones in Warped Tour jail? Because I ran out of answer choices. Don't worry, I'll give you a second. Think about it. All right, you got your answer? Well, if you said any of these answers, you would be wrong, you dumbass, all right? How could you think it was any of these? These are two right in the head, all right? Kevin Lyman instead said Damon Fizzy is a bully. And I believe he actually wanted to kick him off the tour, not Austin Jones. He also even said that Damon deserved jail time for exposing Austin Jones. Insane, right? Like, bruh. And then, after everything about Austin Jones officially came out, all Kevin Lyman did was send Damon an email saying, I might owe you an apology. Something like that. I don't know. I think he put the he's in there. You guys are seeing the screenshot right now, but like, what, bro? Damon Fizzy has actually gotten done so dirty throughout his career, you know, multiple times when he's just trying to do the right thing, and it honestly just sucks. He's always been a great content creator who, you know, always made me want to get Pokeball gauges, and he still streams to this day on Twitch, so go check out his streams. I'll have it linked down below, and you're seeing it behind me, probably ahead of me. I don't know. You're seeing it somewhere. But yeah, I don't think that Kevin Lyman is really suited to be running a tour with the popularity and size that Warped Tour has, given that he's just a horrible decision maker. Obviously, I only cited a few things, but there's so much more. He also said all Warped Tour controversies are just part of the culture. So, you know, you come up with your own opinion based on that. These are just my opinions, but you can come up with your own. Anyway, will I go to Warped Tour? Yeah, probably. Capitalism just has me in a chokehold. I don't know. I'll still go anyway. Who cares? But it shouldn't exist, all right? I'm only going because it exists, but I don't think personally that it should. All right. Given all these heavy topics that I just went over, I thought it'd be fun to end the video taking a look at the official lineup for Warped Tour. Yes, I'm breaking the news. Yep, this is the leaked official lineup for the return of the Vans Warped Tour in 2025. All right. First, for the headliners, we have Ronnie Radke, obviously. Not following in reverse. Just going to be Ronnie Radke tweeting slurs live on stage. I'm sure the fans are going to go crazy for that one. Next up, Let's hear it for Austin Jones. But wait, there's a twist. Featuring Front Porch Step. From the logo, you could tell they're gonna be doing some Lost Prophets covers on stage, combining their powers, grooming as many minors as possible. I really see it as like an Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell type collab, you know? Gonna do numbers. Last but not least, we have Blood on the Dance Floor. No explanation needed. Those are our headliners. All right. The next set of bands. Here we go. Next up, we have Pierce the Veil. But the twist is Mike Fuentes actually rejoined just for this festival. He heard Warped Tour was coming back. He had to come back. You say minors, he's there. After them, we have Brand New. Yep, just like Mike Fuentes, this band got back together just for this. And yeah, you can look up their allegations if you don't know about them, but we're going to move on. Following Brand New, we have Franz from the band Attila. He's going to give a speech about how he's running for president or buying Warped Tour or something. Yeah, Attila's not performing. It's just Franz giving some sort of speech about running for president. As an aside, and this might be a bit controversial, Attila is probably one of the best bands that I saw at Warped Tour. Yeah, their crowd was absolutely insane. Doing circle pits around the entire stage. You had Capri Suns flying everywhere. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but yeah, fortunate but true. And lastly, we have our openers, our all-important openers. First up, we have the U.S. Army bringing people on stage to do pull-ups and just trying to get kids to enlist in the Army. But before them, we have Johnny Craig selling MacBooks to the Warped Tour crowd. You'll definitely receive them, and he's not going to be performing, just selling MacBooks on stage. And then, last but not least, if you know, you know, we have the first opener as Ghost Town. Wait, but here's the kicker, right? Here's the kicker. Somebody needs to interview all these bands, right? They need promotion. Come on. You see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this, right? Well, special guest. How could I forget? I would never leave you out. Brian Stars is the man for the job. Boom. Brian Stars is a special guest for the tour. Somewhere on the bottom of the poster. Yeah, he's there. Special guest. How else is this festival going to happen? For the sponsors, we have the usuals. We have PETA. So wear your vegan Toms. Monster Energy, you know, for the water. Ernie Ball, because there's always the Ernie Ball stage. You can't forget that. You got Journeys, you got Epitaph Records, and you have Klarna, because how else are you going to pay for these tickets that Live Nation is selling? What a stacked lineup, I know. Obviously, it's not the 100 bands it used to be, because no modern festival is going to have that many bands. Come on now, you knew better than that. And just budget cuts. By the way, that segment was inspired by Crustbag's video on the world's worst tours. So go check that out. I'll also have that link down below. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a subscribe, pretty please. Let me know down below if you're excited for Warped Tour coming back, or if you think that that tour should just stay dead like I do. Yeah, if you like and subscribe, Kevin Lyman will pay for your apartment and your therapy. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.